Do you know when to talk about Blucifer, the rock pile, the mousetrap, or the gap? If not, this video is for you. Catch up on all the true local Colorado slang. Hey everybody, it's Alyson with Live South Denver. I'm your real estate strategist and realtor here in the South Denver area. Every place has its own lingo and slang, and we are no different over here in Denver. But who wants to be the newbie who's looking a local in the face when they're using this lingo and slang and have to say, "What'd you mean?" So here's a rundown of our regularly used lingo and slang so you are in the know. All right, let's talk about geography and places first. We've got NoCo and FoCo. They're not far apart from each other. NoCo refers to northern Colorado and FoCo refers to Fort Collins, which is in northern Colorado. Then we've got RiNo, LoHi, and LoDo, all downtown shorthand. RiNo is for the River North District in downtown, LoHi is for Lower Highlands, and LoDo is for lower downtown. While you may hear Northern Colorado referred to as Northern Colorado and Fort Collins referred to as Fort Collins, you will hardly ever hear RiNo, LoHi, and LoDo referred to by any other name. I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. We've got Lobo or Lobro. This one's trying to trend. So just in case you hear it, I don't want you to be lost. It refers to Lower Broadway. This is really an up and coming area, lots of new shops, and there's so much going on there that I wouldn't be surprised if either Lobo or Lobro catches on. DTC is the Denver Tech Center, and if someone says they're going up Wads, they mean they're going up Wadsworth Boulevard. It's pretty rare you're gonna hear someone say Wadsworth Boulevard. All right, let's talk about the springs. We have a lot of hot springs in Colorado. When I say the springs though, I mean what everyone else does. It's Colorado Springs. We usually do not say Colorado Springs. You are going to the springs. And that means you're heading from Denver down to the springs. Now, folks in the springs say they're going down to Denver because they're referring to altitude. Generally here in Denver, we don't say we're going up to the springs. We're referring directionally that we're going south. We're going to the springs. Now, we also have Pagosa Springs, Glenwood Springs, Steamboat Springs. For those towns, we will rarely add springs to the end. Someone will be going to Pagosa, to Glenwood, or to Steamboat. So it's the reverse. But when it comes to Idaho Springs, it has the whole name because you can't say the springs, that's already taken, and well, Idaho, clearly, that's already taken. What about some other nicknames we've got for the area? Well, we've got the High Country, the Front Range, and the Western Slope. If you've never been out here or you've not read much about the area, those are probably foreign to you. The High Country refers to our mountain areas. The Front Range refers to the Denver Front Range. So we're talking about Fort Collins, Boulder, Denver, all the way running down to about Colorado Springs. The Western Slope is the towns on the other side of the High Country. That's Glenwood Springs. There's all sorts of areas over there. That's where our wine country is and where the Palisade peaches come from. Now, if you're heading from the Front Range up to Breck in the High Country, you'll go through the tunnel. So Breck is short for Breckenridge. The tunnel is short for Eisenhower Tunnel, and it is essentially your transition point into the High Country. You go in right around the Loveland ski area, and you come out and you are almost at the Silverthorne, Dillon, Keystone area. Denver is known as the Mile High City. I feel like this one is a given, but with all of the media hype around Denver and Colorado's love of pot, which is 420, we'll get to that one in a minute, some people think our Mile High moniker came from people's interest in being high all the time. That is not the case. It is because if you're on the Capitol steps, about halfway up, you're exactly 5,280 feet high above sea level. So what's the mousetrap and what's the gap? These are terms related to our roads. The mousetrap is the junction of I-25 and I-70 where all of the loops and on-ramps and off-ramps are, and it gets congested. Still hear a lot of talk in the morning traffic about the mousetrap. Now, the gap is the section between Castle Rock, Colorado and Colorado Springs, and that's talking about I-25 where there's just not a lot of homes there right now. But that's not always going to be the case. And there is still a lot of traffic because there are people who commute either from the Springs into Denver or from Denver and Castle Rock area into the Springs. We have a lot of people that go back and forth for work because the commute really is not that far. Okay, I already mentioned a few popular numbers that are affiliated with Colorado. Let's run through them really quick. 5280. You'll hear this a lot here. It is the number of feet in a mile, and we are the Mile High City, so we have 5280 magazine. There are all sorts of ways we use 5280 here. 14er. Our tallest mountains are over 14,000 feet, so you will hear people talk a lot about climbing a 14er. They might invite you to climb a 14er. If it is your first month here, I would encourage you to maybe pass and wait till you're a little more acclimated. 303, that is the original area code for phones here in the Denver area. So 303 is popular in advertising, magazines, websites, things of that nature. And 420. If you are not into the culture of medicinal marijuana, cannabis, pot, any of those things, 420 may be something you're not even aware of. But we were one of the first states to legalize recreational marijuana. 420 is a big deal here too. There is a little bit of slang when it comes to our sports. The Donkeys, those are the Broncos on a bad year. The rock pile is the cheap seats when you're going to watch the Rockies play. The Nuggets go by the Nugs and the Avalanche go by the Avs. This is a little bit off of the lingo thing, but something you should know. If someone ever takes a whiff of the air and says, smells like Greeley, or smells like money, or smells like a storm, those all mean about the same thing. What they are smelling is being downwind of a major cattle production. And around here, with cattle being our #1 agricultural product, you can get an idea of what that smells like. But being in Denver, those cattle producers are pretty far away from us. And that means the wind has carried that scent a long way. And when that happens, we know a storm is coming. And in general, that's always bringing snow. We don't get that in the summertime very much. So that's a little tip for you. If you're smelling the downwind of a cattle ranch, brace for some snow. Colorado is known for 2 foods. One we are pretty popular for, and that is our green chili. That's spelled Chile. There's no I in our chili. That is that red bean stuff that's really popular in Texas. Our green chili is made out of chilies that come from Pueblo or New Mexico, and it is some hot stuff that we love to put on a lot of things. It may be on breakfast burritos, it may be on burgers. Some people will eat it just plain in a bowl, their pork green chili. The other thing that we are known for here are Rocky Mountain oysters. So if you hang around with people who love to pull jokes on you, you might want to know what an RMO is ahead of time. There are no oysters around us, as you may gather, since we are a landlocked state. A Rocky Mountain oyster comes from the male parts of a bull. They are fried and served up as an appetizer. Enjoy if you would like. All right, you are on your way to being a Denverite and a Coloradan. But how do we locals say Colorado? If you've watched enough of my videos, you may have picked it up. It's Colorado, Rado. Now, there is some debate over that, but I'll tell you, if you come here and say Colorado, we're gonna guess you're not from here. So I'm just gonna give you a tip. It's Colorado. And you'll know when you've reached local status when you know who your friend in the diamond business is, you remember that nobody beats a deal and Doug deal, and you know who the strong arm is. Oh, bonus. How could I let you get away without knowing who Blucifer is? On your way in and out of the Denver International Airport, that crazy blue Bronco with the red devil eyes, he is a hot topic here along the Denver Front Range. There's no denying he's quite the piece of art, and his real name is Blue Mustang. But thanks to those glowing red eyes and the fact that during the construction of the piece of art, the head fell on the designer and killed him, he has gotten the fancy moniker of Blucifer. Hey, I hope that helped you get ready to feel like and talk like a local. If I can do anything else to help you get ready for Denver, please reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I love to connect with you, and it will be an honor to see how I can serve you. I'll see y'all next week.